Hi everyone, and welcome to this second video in my series of video on Excel shortcuts. In the first video we discussed very basic shortcuts, but in this one we're going to discuss a bit more advanced level of shortcuts. Okay, so the first one is format cell. As you know, if you want to open the format cell in Excel, you have to come here to one of these little arrows and press on them, and it will open the format cell where you can find different pages of formatting. To do that without using the mouse, you could press Ctrl and number 1, okay? And again, you have to keep pressing Ctrl and number 1 to open the format cell. I find it much easier if your hands if you're one of your hands in the keyboard and the other one in the mouse. You just press Ctrl 1 and number 1, it opens the format cell. The second one, a shortcut that shows formula. Now, let me just type two simple formula here. I hit equal and start typing count, and it shows all the formula with the word counts, formulas with the word count. I go down with the arrows to the second one and I hit tab. This opens automatically the formula you've selected. And I'm going to select this range, and I then close parentheses, shift +0, this close parentheses, and I hit enter. Okay. So maybe, you know, count A, it counts any cell that is not empty. So we have 6 cells here. I'm going to use another formula, which is rows. Okay, rows, what does it do? It counts number of rows in a selected range. I'm going to select from A1 to till A10, and then close parentheses. It will give me number 10, which means I have 10 rows here. Okay, all right. So as you know, in order to see a formula, you have to look in the formula bar here, or double click in each formula where it will activate the selected range. Okay. In the formula bar, by the way, you could click on this little arrow here and it expands the formula bar, or you could come to this level and select the formula bar if you have a long formula. Anyway, but as you know, you can only see one formula at a time. But if you press Ctrl and this little key here, it's above tab and to the left of number 1. Okay, this shows the entire formulas in your worksheet. As you can see here, it shows the text of the formula, and it shows all of them at the same time. You can only, in normal cases, you can only see one formula at a time because you have to select at one cell at a time. Even if you selected more than one cell, it always shows the first cell. But if you click that, I don't know what it's called because different languages of keyboards have different letters on that, but it's the first letter of the first key, sorry, in your keyboard above tab and to the left of number 1. This shows the entire formula. This is very helpful when you're working on a complex sheet and you want to see which formula links to which data. This is very easy. Okay, now hide columns, hide row. If you're at any where in Excel and you press Ctrl +9, it hides this column. As you can see now, TUV. There is a missing letter here. Unhide. Okay, this is the letter U has been hidden by just clicking Ctrl and 0. As you can see, also I have some data hidden here. This will be used in a bit. And if you press Ctrl +9, here you hide entire row. Okay, this is very interesting and quick. You could hide columns and row quickly. Now, to unhide everything, I like to come to this part, and if you click at this in this area, it selects everything, and you just put your cursor at any of the numbers, and with the right click, you press the right click and unhide. And again, come to the columns or the letters, and just with the right click, it opens this drop-down list and select unhide. It unhides everything. Let me just hide this little data for later. And this is how you can unhide everything. Or if you have a hidden column, you just have to select to unhidden column and unhide. Okay. Now, to insert or delete cells, you need to press Ctrl and the plus sign to insert cell, and it asks you always, do you want to shift cell to the right or to downward or entire row or entire column? Imagine if I am here and I press Control and plus sign, it shifts the cells down. Okay, as you see, all the shifts in the column C have been shifted down. I'm going to undo that, and you have the other options to entire row, to insert an entire row. Okay. Also, to delete cell, you just press Control and the minus sign. It asks you if you want to shift cells up, shift cells left, or entire row or entire column. Okay, so this is to do that manually. You just need to select any cell and you come here to insert, and it asks you the same question. Now, shift plus space, it selects an entire row, and Control plus space, it selects an entire column. So for example, if I want to insert an entire column here, I come to the C or to the letter itself, and I press right click and then insert. I'm going to undo that. And if I want to insert a new row, I could come here, right click, insert. But with the shortcuts, Shift plus space plus Control plus 1, I inserted a new row. Control plus space, selected an entire column. Control and the plus sign, I inserted a new column. I find it much easier actually. Okay. Now, shift and arrows, I select arrange. Okay, so let me just delete these two functions and unhide my data here. Okay, so I have a data set here. As you know, if you selected your data and then double click at any of the rows at the right exactly boundaries of columns, it automatically automate the width of each column according to the data in that column. Okay, so this is an interesting data set. This is the, I think, top 100 TV shows in the world. I got this data from a website called Kaggle, this website, sorry, Kaggle, and Kaggle.com. This is a website for data science. If you're interested in learning data science, they have a lot of important courses, Python, SQL, R, and so on. But I'm interested in their data, actually. They have a very interesting data set. As you can see, 61,000 data set. You have data in Excel, in SQL, Access, whatever. But in Excel, you find very, very interesting data to experiment on. Okay, let's go back to our Excel sheet. I will be putting the link to their site in the description below if you're interested in that and to learn more about Kaggle. Okay, so now imagine if you want to select this entire data. The easiest thing to do is to select, to press with the mouse in the first cell and move to the right and then scroll down until you reach the end of it. This is 100 records. It's not a big deal, but imagine if it's 5,000 record. Now, I'm going to show you how to quickly select an entire data. Okay, so the first thing is shift and the arrows. If you move with the arrow, as you know, it moves one cell at a time. But if you put your, if you select the first cell in your data and press shift and start moving with the arrows, it moves, but it selects as it moves. Okay, so as you can see, I am selecting these data while I'm moving with the arrows because I'm pressing shift, okay? And if I press shift and control and the arrows, boom, it moves automatically to the end of your data with selection. But if I press control and arrows, it moves to the boundaries of your data without selection. So this is a very important shift with the arrows. It moves with selection. Shift and control and arrows, it moves till end of your data with selection. Control with the arrows, it moves to the boundaries of your data without selection. Okay, so here, control with down arrows, it moves to the end till end of your data. Control with the right arrows till end of your data from the right. Control with above arrows, it goes upward to your first cell. Okay. So to select this entire table quickly, just press Shift, Control, right arrow, and then while pressing Shift and Control, you press downward arrow. Okay, you selected an entire data with a few clicks. Imagine if you have 5,000, 10,000, you just can't keep scrolling down with the mouse. You need to use shortcuts because that's much easier. And again, as I said in my previous video, I will be posting a series of video how to use table, because I believe tables are the basic of Excel. They're very powerful. They're not very popular in Excel. Many people use pivot tables, but tables alone are very powerful. Okay. Okay, so now we learned how to select an entire data set quickly. You just need to press Shift, Control, and the arrow. Now, Control Home always brings you back to A1, to the first cell in your data set. This is very important. If you have a very huge Excel and you want to go back, you can't just keep scrolling with the mouse. I think it's much easier to go Control Home. Control End, it moves you till end of your data or to the last cell you used, whether if it's empty or it includes anything. Okay, so Control End always moves you to the last cell you use. If I scroll down, for example, here, and I go even further to say AC 173, then I go home and Control Home, and then Control End, it goes back to to U104. This is the last data we used. Okay. Control plus page up, page down, it moves between the cells. As you can see, I'm in sheet 1, page down. Again, Control Home, boom, to A1. I'm in sheet 2, page Control and page down. I'm at sheet 3. Control page up, sheet 2. Control page up. I am back to sheet 1. So Control and page up and page down moves between the sheets. Okay. Control. Now, as you probably noticed, Shift makes sure that you select your range. So if I press Shift plus Control plus Home, from where the cell is standing till the first cell, it selects everything. Okay. And again, if I'm at any cell and Shift Control End, it selects everything until the last cell I've used previously. Okay. These are Shift, Control, and Home, and Shift, Control, plus End. Now, Shift plus page down, again, Control plus page up and down, it moves between sheets, but Shift with page up and down, it selects a 25 row. Page down and page up usually moves 25 a row at a time. If you want to select 25 row, in my data, I press Shift and page down. It selected the first 25 row in my data. Okay, and again Shift, Control, and the arrow, right or left, it selects till the end of my data. So this is quickly how you can select a huge data with a few clicks on the keyboard. I will be adding a link to this Excel workbook in the description below. And in the next third part of this series, I will be sharing also a more advanced shortcuts. If you have any question, please write it in the comment below, and I'll make sure to get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you so much, guys. Bye bye.